Okay, guys, it's Old Man G. Good morning. Back to you again from Red Devil Studio to talk about the latest Manchester United transfer news. And basically, we'll begin a bit out of the blue, actually. So it seems that Manchester United are in for Everton Soares. Yes, that's right, that's Everton Soares. For those who are unaware, Everton Soares is actually Brazilian international. He, actually played in the Copa America recently. Um, and basically this is actually according to reports from Brazil, ironically enough, which basically say that United have essentially sent scouts to well officials anyway to scout the star, who's actually gaining interest from Bayern Munich and I think Milan. The journalist Farid Germano, it's been cited by Sport Witness, basically says that United have sent emissaries um, to watch Everton against for his club when they were playing against Bahia, because essentially as soon as they won the Copa America, he went straight back to his club team. So man, this Brazilian league where it's intense because he's literally in playing, and now he's gone back to playing against playing for his club side. Sorry. So yeah, the Red Devils essentially were essentially watching this guy, scouting him around. He's been touted as the new Neymar. He is a forward, sorry, and I don't know whether with Lukaku future uncertain. Whether you're United thinking right, okay, up and coming forward looks interesting, could potentially get him young, 23, I think, and yeah, like maybe United thinking this might be an option, although we have been linked with Brazilian players in the past, not really done anything. And the only thing I would say is that it only really seems to be this Portuguese reporter, um, Brazilian journalist, Farid Germano, that seems to be, um, reporting this sort of reporting this story, and he doesn't seem to have the best. He doesn't seem to have the best reputation amongst Gremio fans, which is the team that Everton Soares plays for. So I would take this with a pinch of salt. To be honest, unless there's any sort of direct word from maybe the player himself, or from the club, I'm not 100% sure, even 50% sure this is going to go through. But it's nice to have news nonetheless, and it also adds fuel to the fire that United are trying to find a replacement for Lukaku if he gets sold. But the key thing here is that we're being linked to a lot of players, but there aren't really many rumours, reports of bids for our players. Inter Milan, okay, is probably the strongest, I would say, regarding trying to get Lukaku. That's probably the strongest, negotiations. I think last time it was like a 2-year loan obligation to sign or something like that. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that aside from Inter Milan Lukaku, there are not really any clubs linked with bids for any of our players. Though we are usually obviously linked with essentially everybody else. And I think naturally, if we don't actually get bids for Pogba, for Lukaku, for Sanchez, even amongst other players who we want to sell, then I think it's unlikely, especially approaching closer in the season, that we're going to be offloading many players, if any players at all. So what do you think about Everton Soares? I think he was great again the Copa de America. He basically came in as replacement for Neymar, who is banter at this moment in time. And he performed very well with Gabriel Jesus as well up front. Brazil, they weren't as flashy, but they did the job done. And he scored a good amount of goals to help Brazil win the title. They haven't won, I think, for maybe 12 years plus, I think. So yeah, that's Everton Soares. Tell me what you think, guys. Do you think he'd be a good signing for Manchester United? Do you think it's another risk signing, given the fact that he's not Premier League proven, and also he'd take quite a bit of time to actually adapt to the Premier League? What do you think? Or do you think let's just get rid of Lukaku, just bring in anybody that looks like they've got a bit of skill and flair in the first touch, and that will be an improvement for Manchester United? Right. So the next piece of story is basically around Sean Longstaff. And I haven't done a video on Sean Longstaff, I think in part because, to be honest, I was frustrated that we were actually even linked to him, given the fact that he's only had, I think, 5 senior appearances. But basically, it's the latest news basically is that Manchester United will not be pursuing Sean Longstaff any further because they're put off by Newcastle's ridiculous 50 million asking price. Understandably so, I mean, it's according to the Telegraph actually, so which is a British newspaper, basically Ed Woodward's been in contact with the managing director of Newcastle, Lee Chanley, and basically they've told him, if you want Sean Longstaff, you got to fork out 50 million. Now, Manchester United apparently were saying, well, they value the youngster about between 18 and 20 million. I don't really understand how, but okay, they think he's 18, 20 million. 8 million, okay, fine. But the fact that Newcastle was saying 50 million seems to have taken United aback, and now they're going to try and pursue other targets. That's good as far as I'm aware. There is this really big issue with British players being overinflated in this market, and as much as I like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, for example, was he worth 50 million? It's difficult. Maybe if he had a very good second season for Crystal Palace, I would say so. But based on this on a first season, just a standout first season when you don't know the consistency, maybe not. And there just seems to be this ridiculous British tax on players, signing players. So the fact that Newcastle have the audacity to say Sean Longstaff, not that I really was keen on us signing him, but that Sean Longstaff is worth 50 million, is it a joke? It's embarrassment, and there's no way that United should bid 50 million for Sean Longstaff. And I'm glad, and I hope that Ed Woodward realises that we shouldn't do ridiculous deals like that. We should actually not be restricted to young British talent, because there is a premium to be paid for young British talent. That's the reality of the situation. So we should be looking at other targets, other non-British foreign players, whatever you want to call it, targets, who are going to be, who are playing maybe in similar levels to Sean Longstaff. Kante was playing in, I think, Venture's second division, and look how he's turned out. So I'm not saying there's any reason with signing players that, we seem to be signing or be linked to signing a lot of players who don't have that experience. But I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. But what I am saying is that it's ridiculous to spend, Leicester, I think, spend, was it 500,000 on getting Kante, I think. Was it? I have to verify that figure, but either between that or 2 million. Basically, it wasn't that much, okay, to get him to sign for Leicester. But, because Sean Longstaff is British, we should shell out 50 million. No, I'd go and get some. I'd rather go and get Everton Soares. Is probably not going to be, well, assuming he's not going to be as expensive as getting Sean Longstaff. I mean, think even De Ligt going 60 million. 60 million for De Ligt potentially to Juventus, and United are paying 50 million for Sean Longstaff, or been asked to. So yeah, I'm happy that that's not being done. Deals not being done. It means that United will pursue other targets. What those other targets are, I don't know. Especially with the Bruno Fernandes situation still up in the air. But yeah, no Sean Longstaff. It's we're not going that way, and I think Mike Ashley can do one, because we're not prepared to overspend for players that are not proven. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Have a good day, and cheers.